So a few months ago, I talked to a guy and he was doing quite well when it came to quitting porn. A few months in, maybe 3 months in, and he was feeling good. And he came on my podcast, and I really liked him. I felt a lot of empathy towards him because he was so honest and had really acknowledged his addiction. He'd shared and been really vulnerable with me, talking about how he'd ended up in a really dark place, how he had actually blacked out for 2 weeks and woken up after being in a coma one day when he had taken too many drugs. And I really wanted him to stay stopped correctly and quit porn for good. But we spoke on the podcast, and a few weeks went by, and eventually he went and looked at porn again. And then he looked at porn again and again and again. And then he got into drugs. And he messaged me again recently, and he was saying how he wasn't doing so well. And I felt really sorry for him, and I wanted to help him, and I still do, and I'm sure I will. But here's the thing with quitting pornography: you can't substitute porn for something else. That's where I believe this guy went wrong. And I did tell him this at the time, though, because he was on a streak, he thought he was doing well. He measured his success based on the amount of days that he'd gone without pornography. And this is a crucial mistake to make, because the amount of days you go without pornography isn't that relevant to how much success you're having in terms of changing your brain, because the brain changes through accepting and acknowledging the desire and making a choice in those moments. The brain doesn't really change so much if you just postpone the inevitable moments of desire through maybe meditation, through maybe distracting yourself, being busy, or substitution. And substitution is a big one. A lot of people do this. They start to spend more time on social media, they spend more time eating unhealthy food, they spend more time maybe playing video games or something else. But all of these things can be highly, highly addictive. And so you're just elevating your dopamine to similar levels to before, but maybe not quite as high as porn. And it's not actually going to tap into the neural pathways which need to be changed. So this is what we really want to do. We want to actually go through a real withdrawal process. We want to actually feel some discomfort. If you're quitting porn and you're just feeling good all the time because you've substituted out porn for video games, then you've not really changed your brain at all. And here's the worst thing about it: you're going to end up a gaming guy who also watches pornography, because eventually you are going to end up back at porn. It's the same with guys who go and replace porn with food. Every time they have that compulsive desire to look at porn, they just go and eat some snacks because it's like, oh, that's not so bad. It is bad. Like, it may not be so bad in terms of your moral judgment of yourself, but essentially it's going to just impact the brain in a very, very similar way. It's not going to rewire the brain if every time you have a compulsive desire, you don't actually change the thinking that's going on there behind the desire, and you just go and replace it with a different compulsive behaviour. So what we want to do is actually change our thinking, and you can do that through saying that certain things to yourself in those moments of compulsive desire and willingly accepting the temporary discomfort. The things you want to say to yourself is basically weigh up the decision. You know, if I engage in this compulsive behaviour right now, it's going to lead to all of these things. If I choose to willingly accept this temporary discomfort, it's going to lead to all of these things. And you make your choice, and that's how the brain rewires. So you want to learn by thinking and not by doing. You don't want to substitute out porn for other things. It's not a long-term solution. Essentially what I'm saying is you need the desire to look at porn to rewire the brain, because it's through that desire that you make a choice in those moments and change the neural pathways that are addicted. Thanks a lot for watching. There's a link in the description to some free training if you want to learn more about rewiring your brain and quitting pornography for good. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.